This is the main event. Mark's podcast, brought to you by Belly Up Unhinged Radio Network Sports. I am your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad. I am Troy, and with me as always, he is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia, the main event collector, and the figure hunting warrior. He is the abyss to my James Mitchell. Click Doomsday. It's Greg. What's up, Greg?
That's almost a compliment. I'll take it.
I liked Abyss. I think you did too, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I almost did the AJ Styles and Rhino one, but I was like, you'd want to be AJ, but at the same time, I'm not going to be the guy from Detroit, so I couldn't do that one. So I was like, this works. And hey, I think Abyss is making more money now than he ever has, and he doesn't ever have to step foot in the ring again. So
he was on TV last night. Spoiler, we recorded a little early.
Oh wow! Was it a?
He was breaking up a fight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey,
and in the same fight, Hurricane Helms took a hard right to the ice at the Charlotte Flair.
Wow.
I don't think he was joking, by the way. He has a bruise on his face.
Hey man, if you're going to send an agent to break up a fight, I would send Abyss.
Right.
Today we are talking about TNA Destination X 2007 as we continue our journey through the year 2007 in TNA.
Get it, TNA, because it sounds like a sexual pun.
Yeah, brawl. But we'll get into
there may be a companion piece of this, by the way. We'll get into that.
Yeah, well, when we get to the match, we'll talk about it and all that good stuff. But real quick, before we get into all the news and notes, we're going to take this quick break to let you know that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get all of your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com. The link is down in the podcast description. When you go to checkout, just let them know that the Main Event Marks and Burns sent you. We are also sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. Their clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins, and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. So go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENTMARKS, all one word, for 15% off your order. That is Main Event Marks, all one word, 15% off your order at swiftlifestyles.com. Also, I do want to direct you to our link tree. It is linktr.ee/main event marks. There you can get links to all of our social media accounts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as all the links to wherever you can hear the podcast and our YouTube channel, as well as our two merchandise stores on Redbubble and Bonfire. That is if you go to linktr.ee/main event marks. That is the easiest place to find everywhere that you can hear us, watch us, and communicate with us. Speaking of our YouTube, there is new content being posted on there almost every single day, and we are growing by leaps and bounds on YouTube. We're very proud of the work that we do there, not only with our regular wrestling podcast stuff, but every once in a while we'll cover current stuff here and there. We do have more video elements coming, and we also have Marks on Media as a whole playlist on there, which includes some talk about Marks on TV, Marks on movies, Marks on games. More coming with the Marks on games now that both Greg and I have WWE 2K22. So we're going to be doing more videos and more talks about that coming up. So more content, pal. If you go to youtube.com/C/main event marks podcast, that is youtube.com/C/main event marks podcast. But now we are done with that. We are going to take our first break. When we come back on the other end of this, there's actually a decent amount of news and notes to get to today, which you don't always get for 2007, but here we are.
Say a lot of WrestleMania. So
yeah, right. Yep, they have some pre-WrestleMania talks that we'll get into right after this break. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/main event marks pod, on Twitter at main event_marks, and on Instagram at main event_marks and at main event collector. Get ready to rumble! in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot
The
that.
same mother and father.
Your room was...
Oh, we shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah,
from
we
somewhere.
go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Brocast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Brocast. That's BROKAST. I nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Brocast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we are back.
And we're back.
Time to talk about all the news and notes from March of 2007. This first story, I'm like, wow, didn't know this was a thing. But the
That always
reason
gets me.
right? The reason Ricky Steamboat was shown using the name on Raw this past week during the Nick Bockwinkel Hall of Fame segment is because he had finalized a deal with his ex-wife Bonnie, and thus he owns the rights to the name Ricky the Dragon Steamboat yet again. This move would enable WWE to use him in some sort of legend capacity as a character, making merchandise on him, and at some point induct him into the Hall of Fame.
2 years later.
Right. I have a lot of questions about this, though. It's like, why did Bonnie own the rights to his name?
I think I heard she was his manager back when they were married. So, I mean, I don't know. I still don't know the answer to the question, but...
That's just weird. I don't know. Apparently,
Doesn't the
nobody
Honky
liked
Tonk
her.
Man own the Patriots?
Does he?
I think so. So, I mean, I know it's not the same, but it's like, it's just the weirdest thing. Like, why do people own these things?
Yeah, like when you found out that this one makes a little more sense, but like Jimmy Hart owned Rock House, the NWO theme. That one was a little weird. I was like, okay. But
I guess if you see some kind of intellectual property, you could potentially make money. You're going to grab it.
yeah, right.
It's just weird.
According to people who have talked about the matter, they said Bonnie was really hard to work with. She kind of screwed up some aspects of Ricky's career, kind of, leading him in the wrong direction. And yeah, nobody really seemed to like her. So I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously. I don't know anything about the situation, but
I didn't think you were a thought.
yeah, right. That's that's what I know about it. Little Richie there, he was, well, you saw Bonnie and Little Richie during the 89 trilogy he had with Ric Flair, now in the archives, by the way. So you can see that during a couple of his entrances against Flair. Oh, man. Speaking of just weird things here, on a recent edition of Hillbilly's Moonshine Matinee on Sirius's Channel 63, he mentioned that JR will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Okay.
I do remember him being the very last announced one, too.
Yeah. So it's like, was this the first time it was announced by somebody named Hillbilly on something called Moonshine Matinee on Sirius XM radio?
Why don't we ignore how easy it is to poke a joke at the Oklahoma and the Hillbilly? Okay.
Right. There was just all kinds of white in this article. I don't even know what to say.
JR Hall of Fame, Boomer Sooner.
Hey, I will say this, though. If anybody deserved to go in the Hall of Fame as an announcer, it was good old JR Jim Ross. So,
Don't put Mike
and-
Adamley in, though.
oh, yeah. Jeff Hardy. What were some of the... I know he had quite a few gaffes. There was Jeff Harvey. There was another one that he got laughed at for. I can't even remember.
The Summerfest? No, that was Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
Kofi Johnson, or that might have been that dumb NASCAR guy.
Yeah, I don't remember. He had a few of them. There's like compilations on YouTube. If people go look up Mike Adamley, it's not pretty. The fact that they let him flounder like that for so long, I'm like, why does he have a job?
I feel like it became a gimmick at some point. See what he can mess up this week.
God dang it, pal. You think Vince was doing that? He was sitting in the back, like, he effed up again. It's hilarious.
I would have.
Mike, you're doing a stand-up job.
Stand-up comedian, sure.
Yeah, right. WWE has had recent talks with Chris Jericho about returning to the promotion this September. If a deal is reached at this point, there is talk of him being placed on the Raw brand. TNA president Dixie Carter is also pursuing him. Jericho's band Fozzy has been featured in several TNA shows since he left WWE.
He would come back the night after Survivor Series, so 2 months later than anticipated.
Yeah, so...
he would be on the Raw brand.
I don't think... Which return was this? Was this the one where he didn't talk?
No, this is the one where the Save Us 222, I think, was it?
No, the code where he chopped his hair off, did the code breaker stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That one I remember. Yeah, because I think...
The fact that there's a which Jericho is this is pretty funny.
Right. Yeah. I remembered that one because he had long hair, or his bobbed haircut, whatever, in the TNA, like the videos they had
we call it a Karen haircut.
Good Lord. Yeah, and the thing is, I think he mock Shawn Michaels for his little Dutch boy haircut, and then he goes and gets his chopped off like that.
He did.
You know, we talked before about, I don't know if this was on the podcast or just off, not recording, but how Jericho's said stuff about The Miz ripping him off, whatever. It's like, didn't Jericho rip off a lot of stuff from Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh no, he's an originator.
Well, I mean, he's originator of ripping off people, right?
Wow. No. Well, actually, I don't know if you want to look at the lineage of like superstar Billy Graham to the Body Ventura to Hulk Hogan and that whole evolution down there. Yeah. I like how like Hulk Hogan was like, I'm going to take a couple of things like, the brother and whatever, but I'm not going to make it too obvious. Then he becomes Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He's like, I'm going full on superstar Billy Graham with this one. Tie-dye, feather boas, the facial hair, all of it. Like, it's been, 3 decades? Nobody will remember.
I didn't.
Yeah, right.
Very young, but...
Yeah, I didn't know until I was older, and I'm like, wait a minute. He did... What? Aw. Vince McMahon did not make the latest Forbes list of billionaires. 946 people made the list, including Donald Trump, who they valued at $2.9 billion.
I hope this is okay.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that man's sleeping at night. I really do.
Yeah, I hope he got to sleep well on his bed made of money while he dried his tears with $100 bills. Well, people were quick to, he's like, well, he says he's a billionaire and he's not really a billionaire. He's just a multimillionaire. It's like, oh God. Like you said, I hope it's okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, and Trump comes in. He's like, excuse me. Actually, I'm the biggest billionaire, okay? Billions and billions, okay?
I wanted a real billionaire. I call Bill Gates.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we saw what Bill Gates did on that episode of South Park.
Yep. Some point, you just gotta start having fun with life, right? Like, what else you got to do?
Yeah, right. Got that big prison tattoo on his chest and just beating up the guy who runs Sony. Speaking of Donald Trump, he was on a New York City radio station promoting Raw and WrestleMania. This time around, he remembered Bobby Lashley's name. Last time, he forgot Lashley's last name and thought his last name was Lizzie or Lindsay. However, this time, he didn't remember Umaga's name. He just referred to Umaga as, quote, a young gentleman from Samoa who weighs 400 pounds.
That could be anybody.
Yeah. Well, that narrows it down, Donald. Trump said that Lashley needs to win, or he would have to disappear for 6 months until his hair grew back. Oh well,
Wow.
we would all miss that marvelous mop.
I don't know what to do with that.
This whole story, man.
Who thought this would be a good idea, by the way? Oh, someone's going to lose their hair. It had to be Vince, right?
Yeah, right. I'm so confused by this whole situation in many aspects. First of all, if you listen to like Pritchard and Austin, whatever they say, Trump was a great sport and he was into it and everything. But then he goes on the radio to promote it and he's like, yeah, I don't remember anybody's name. And then
He probably doesn't remember his damn secretary's name.
Right. Like Amy. And it's like, sir, you fired Amy last week. Brenda? No, you fired her last month. Get in here. Who are you? You're fired. Don't correct me again. You're Amy now.
He's a legal pad to write all the names down.
You're right. Yeah, he just like pulls out this like shopping list and he starts marking names off. But the other thing about this is like Pritchard talked about how Vince hated hair versus hair angles because he's like, I don't get it. He's like, you can just grow your hair back. Who gives a damn?
Well, in that respect, he's right. But it's supposed to be a humiliation thing, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what Pritchard was trying to say. He's like, some people really like their hair. He's like, you don't see how that's like a humiliating thing. You get shaved in front of everybody because you lost. Like he said, Vince just didn't get it. Like the whole brothers don't feud. Brothers got a hug.
Oh.
I
got a Tommy Boy reference in there already. Cool.
Yeah, right. I got a Vince McMahon / Chris Farley reference in. Who can say that? Where else? What other podcast do you get that kind of quality on, huh? You tell me that. We're bringing the goods.
I like it.
Right? But yeah, I don't know. Some of the stuff, that's why I'm confused. I'm like, so your whole feud was about getting your head shaved, though. So I don't know. It worked. They did a humongous buy rate, obviously.
Number one, biggest one ever.
Right. A WrestleMania match, or a new WrestleMania match, has been announced on WWE.com. It's Melina versus Ashley for the WWE Women's Championship.
And that was a asses in seats one.
Man, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm going to assume it was a barn burner. Look, the Battle of the Billionaires, it's doing well, whatever. It's a nice little, side match, whatever. But what we really need to draw the money is Melina versus Ashley Massaro for the women's title, okay? That's going to sell the final 20,000 seats, okay?
You mean like final 40,000, because they probably overinflated the attendance for that, too.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Well, actually, what I was told was, from somebody at the arena who had a clicker.
Apple's in the news a lot. I feel like we should talk about him more, but never mind.
Right.
As the time was recorded, I was going to say he pronounced somebody practically dead, and he's wrong. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, in all the rumor mills, you can see all the places that exclusively just read the Observer, and then they're like, I'm going to report it like I came up with it, because all these places are taking that and running with it. William Regal practically dead.
William Regal says a couple hours later, I've never felt healthier.
Yeah, I was talking about a health scare in 2018. Like, for God's sake. These people are so stupid. And the thing is, idiots will buy into it and they'll believe Uncle Dave over William Regal himself.
You're being so literal with that, because they literally buy into it. Yeah,
that's true. It's sad and pathetic, but here we are. Speaking of WrestleMania, though, the TD Waterhouse Arena in Orlando, Florida, is currently slated to host WrestleMania 24.
He does go to Orlando.
Yeah, I don't know if it was at the TD Waterhouse Arena.
It was at the Orange Bowl.
Oh, that's
that's
right. That's right. I remember because they said something about at the time. I don't know if they've updated it since then, but they said it was.
They have, because I went to 33. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, they said it was a crap hole at 24. And they had to go in. They spent like a week just making it look presentable. And everybody said they're like, it looked like a completely different venue by the time WWE got their hands on it. There's something to be said for putting money into dressing a place up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my only gripe is it was so damn hot. I mean, blistering hot.
Which one?
33.
30. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, Orlando, that time of year, yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot, but usually it's going to be pretty hot. I think that's Orlando most of the year, though, to be to be fair. Madison Square Garden in New York City will probably be getting the Royal Rumble next year.
2008, yes, they do.
Okay. See, I don't remember the venues for places too well, unless it was something like really stood out in my mind for a reason. 2008 Rumble. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. Who won that one?
Was it John Cena? Yeah, John Cena returns at the end. He's number 30.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I remember. Yeah, his infamous entrance. Yeah, that was 1000% MSG. Yeah, because I remember they come out the side. I remember. Okay. I think the only time they didn't come out the side was WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, they built a whole stage for it.
Yeah, and that one looked cool. I'm glad they did that. But yeah, every other time I've seen it, yeah, they come out that side entrance. Which
I sat on top of, by the way, during New Japan show.
Yeah, I remember you were sending me pictures. That was cool. Was it SummerSlam 98 or 99? 98, right?
98, yeah.
Yeah. Now in the archives, that one was there, and they did like a Hell's Gate looking entrance. Pretty damn sweet. WWE is very interested in signing Mystico. Mystico had a tryout before SmackDown tapings on February 24th in San Jose, California.
I was probably there.
His tryout went very well and went over highly within the superstars and officials. When does Sin Cara pop up in WWE?
I don't think it's like 2010, 11 or something like that.
Yeah, I forget off the top of my head. And I would Wikipedia.
I forget because I just don't care. Sin Cara, his figure is now with backstage complaining action. Oh, that's not Sin Cara. Never mind. Who was that? It was
Kalisto.
Yeah, Kalisto with his backstage complaining action.
Yeah, right. He pops up. Looks like 2010-ish, or no, 2011.
Yeah, I didn't think it was right away. So they're interested in signing a guy, and they will in 4 years.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense because I did leave one thing out of the story. They said he just signed a new contract with CMLL and didn't really say anything at first, and it still had like 4 years left on the contract. So now it makes sense. This past week, Goldberg stated that due to his age, he would never fight. However, he is still open for a return to the wrestling world. In TNA, if the offer is right, he also said that TNA has yet to offer him the right offer. Previous negotiations were not up to par by his standards. Yeah, that never happens. Obviously.
He would be back for that show we just saw, WrestleMania 33.
Yeah. So he would never wrestle outside of WWE. I take that back. I think he popped up in New Japan for a little while, maybe 1 or 2 matches. It wasn't anything, long term. But yeah, other than that, it's been all WWE or nothing. I mean, can you really blame him for not wanting to go to TNA?
Oh, no.
I guarantee they weren't willing to pay him what he's getting paid now. This one, man. Serotonin officially have new names. Johnny Devine is now known as Havoc. Kazarian,
oh, yeah.
Kazarian is, yep. Kazarian is now Kaz, and Matt Bentley is now known as Martyr.
Okay, the Kaz one wasn't bad at all. The rest.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The fact that they called him Kaz, though, I'm like, okay, I'm not glad
That's what people call him now, though.
Yeah. It's like, I'm glad they didn't give him like a stupid name like Martyr or Havoc, but why? And it was like, when you're talking to people who don't keep up with TNA and you mention Kaz, they're like, oh, Taz is in TNA? No, Kaz.
Well, he
like,
was.
wait, which one? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. He was in TNA at this time. That makes it even worse. Like, wait, the commentators, the wrestling again? No, Kaz, not Taz. Wait, what? I thought his name was Taz. It's like, you know what? Never mind.
Pay attention. Enunciate. Jeez.
Right. Former WWF wrestler Mike Barton, a.k.a. Bart Gunn, is still under contract to Pride for 2 more fights.
Wow, I didn't know he was ever on Pride.
I didn't either.
He's years old.
I knew he did some fighting. I didn't know he did Pride.
I'm going to go ahead and assume he never won a fight.
I don't know, man. Like that's probably not, but because he was
crazy.
Yeah, he was on the dark side of the ring for the Brawl for All. That's what I was thinking of. And I know he said something about doing some MMA, but yeah, I had no idea. His mixed martial arts record is he's only had 2 fights. He's 1-1.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so
Good for him.
apparently, when did Pride officially shut down?
10, 11, I think.
Wow. So I wonder how he got out of those 2 final fights.
Because Dana White didn't want him.
I guess. Yeah, because his first fight was June 17th, 2006. He won his fight. It was in Hawaii, and he won via TKO. And then his second fight, he lost
See the
in a
name on
decision. Wesley Correira.
I think he actually fights for Bellator. I know that name.
Huh. Yeah.
That's the guy you beat?
Yeah, that's the guy he beat.
And who beat him? Who beat him?
He lost via decision to Ikuhisa Niawa or Minawa. I don't know.
No clue.
Yeah, I can't pronounce the name. Ikuhisa Minawa. If anybody knows the hell that is, yeah, I don't know.
Watch him end up being one of their bigger stars. We look like idiots because we didn't know this.
No, apparently he's a MMA fighter and professional wrestler currently competing in IGF as Manawa Man.
Wow.
Okay. That's a whole lot of what the F is going on.
Manawa Man.
Yes.
That sounds like a fancy type of water. You want one of the Manawa bottles of water.
Hey, it's about as original as Super Eric. So there's that. MMA standout Gina Carano will once again once again be featured in an Oxygen Network's reality show Fight Girls. The second season premieres in June. The fights will be under Muay Thai rules. I don't know. Have you heard about that?
No. But she's really close. She's really close to going to what was that one that folded?
Strike Force.
Strike Force, yeah.
Yeah.
That was at her last fight, and it was brutal.
Oh, she got her ass kicked.
Cyborg picked her apart.
Damn, that sucks. Yeah, Fight Girls on the Oxygen Network. Like, what? Pretty sure the Oxygen Network was like for women only, and it's like, okay, so I can understand the Fight Girls thing, but there's not a huge female contingency in the MMA world.
They're not even in UFC at this point. Like, Dana White's still being sexist about it, saying they'll never fight in the UFC. So that's still a thing right now.
Right. I'm talking about even the fan base. Like, I don't. When you pan across the audience, if you see women, they're usually there with their boyfriends or husbands or something. All the fighters have been confirmed for the upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter, which features an all lightweight 155-pound cast. The coaches will be former lightweight champion Jens Pulver and former welterweight champion going back to lightweight BJ Penn.
I forget who wins this season, but I watch it.
Yeah.
I do remember BJ Penn humiliating Jens Pulver in their fight afterward.
Oh, wow. I remember by the time I started paying attention, BJ Penn was on his downswing. So
who was in the season? You see a couple of names in there?
The runner-up was Manny Gambarian.
Oh, Gambarian, yeah.
Gambarian, okay.
Yeah.
Now the fighters, let's see if I know any of these people. Yeah, Gray Maynard, Matt Wyman.
Maynard was still got a contract, but I don't think he won it.
Yeah. Joe Lozon.
Joe Lozon still fights, I think. I think
Paul
he's about
Miller.
to fight Cowboy Cerrone in a couple months.
Nice.
That's no joke, yes.
Corey Hill, Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz won it. Yep. Okay. I thought that was the year.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to do much.
Was Nick already fighting?
He was, and Nate got into it because he wanted to be like his older brother.
Ah,
And in my opinion, at least in legacy-wise, he surpassed him.
huh, nice.
But people still pay to see that man fight today. I did
Right.
not a couple of years ago.
This was actually the first season where we had one winner.
Yeah.
Every season before this had 2 winners.
I want to say no, it's not. This is not the. Coming up, though, was the first season where they got a fight to get in the house. This is one just Dana White just picked 16 guys.
Okay. Ken Pishna is reporting that Frank Mir is out of his scheduled bout with Anthony Hardonk on April 5th.
It's a real name.
On the April 5th UFC Fight Night.
Can't tell you how many times I had fun with that.
I can imagine. Good grief. Yeah, that one just you're set up for failure in life with that name.
Your parents hated you. Well, I should say your ancestors. I guess your parents will pick your last name.
Right. But yeah, April 5th UFC Fight Night. So Frank Mir is out. Didn't he get hurt a lot?
He got hurt a lot, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering. It's like I seem to recall him pulling out of multiple fights due to injury, or he found out after a fight he got injured real bad during the fight.
Apparently, he went into that Brock Lesnar fight with a hurt knee or something like that. I don't know if it's true, but
the one where Lesnar cremated his ass.
No, the one where he tapped out Lesnar.
Oh, okay. In September, last story by the way. In September, UFC is looking to put together a March 3rd Rich Franklin versus Jason McDonald winner against Nate Marquardt versus Anderson Silva's winner.
Yes, I think Rich Franklin wins that, convinces Dana White to have the rematch in Cincinnati, and gets humiliated badly.
By Silva?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, of course.
Silva beat him twice. Yeah, he humiliated him twice. And that sucks, because I love Rich Franklin, but Silva beat the hell out of him.
Former school teacher turned MMA fighter. It
was cool. He came out to Welcome to the Jungle. Place was going nuts.
Yep.
And then Anderson Silva just beats him in like 2 minutes, I think it was. Something like that.
That sucks. Yeah. Franklin was pretty good there for a little while. But...
Dude, he beat Chuck Liddell with a broken arm.
That's
not many rough, man.
Was that past his prime Chuck? Or
this was Chuck's last fight ever up until that atrocity with Tito last year. Or year before last, whenever it was, but that was his last fight ever.
Yeah, because Chuck Liddell in his prime was a badass, but
he went down in his prime, he beats anybody. So, but still, though, I mean, you have a broken arm and you knock out a dude. That's insane, dude. His arm was shattered. It was like you can see it broken into like literally half. And I was watching it in a theater, so you can see it, man. It was rough.
Wow. Yeah, and that's different from like if you break your hand in a fight, that can be managed. It's not great. But I know Muhammad Ali's daughter talked about that. She said she broke her hand in a boxing fight one time, and she said, well, I couldn't feel it, so that allowed me to just swing with all my might and just pound the piss out of my opponent. So
a lot of people tell you that's stupid, though, because you cause more nerve damage doing that. You don't know it.
Yep. Yeah, I would assume so. It's like, if your hand's broke, you probably shouldn't repeatedly bang it into something as hard as you can. But
Cowboy Bob.
Wow.
And Chelsea Green's guilty of that too. Did she still wrestle with a broken hand? Wrist or arm or whatever the hell it is this month.
Yeah, I saw she wrestles in a cast again. I'm like, my gosh.
Third time she's wrestling in a cast in her career, dude.
Yeah, it's like you're in a perpetual cast.
Like, Cowboy Bob. I just mention him.
She's not injury prone, Greg. She's not.
No, neither is JJ Watt. Remember, I got into an argument with somebody, I don't know why, but I just made the comment, and I'm like, dude, he's so damn injury prone. This was like 5 years ago, by the way. Because he's not injury prone. He's now since been hurt every season since then, but he's not injury prone.
Oh, man. But anyway, we're going to take our next break and finally get into TNA Destination X 2007. Boy, howdy, there's a lot to talk about here right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Mighty 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Main event marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/main event marks. And we're back. It's TNA Destination X 2007. Took place March 11th, 2007. The tagline, "First you must die in order to live." Okay.
Well, I don't know if I might pick that up. Yeah, I was cracking coffee.
Okay. Oh no, you popped it. Nice.
I have a friend. I don't know what religion he is, but like his religion believes that when you are born into this world, you're crying from dying previously.
Oh my God!
And that tagline just kind of reminded me of that. What? Say it again.
First you must die in order to live.
Yeah, so it's exactly that.
Yeah. They had the weirdest taglines.
I want that on me. But that's just a belief they have.
But it's like that's like the weirdest damn taglines, like for their pay-per-views. Every time I read one of these, it's like WCWs were kind of lame. TNA's made no sense. Like WWE's
are sometimes good but lazy. Like WrestleMania, when I think of it, and they said 22 was big time. Like,
yeah,
it's no crap. I'll keep it PG.
Right.
Okay, well, I gotta be honest though. This year's WrestleMania may take the cake for dumb ones though.
Yeah, are they going with it hits different?
No, it's stupendous.
Oh God, that's even worse.
But I will tell you this, man. Pat McAfee is getting it over like wildfire, man. Good grief. He sells the hell out.
Okay, so he's taking the role of Gorilla Monsoon then.
Pretty much.
Because God dang, that's my problem. My one problem with listening, and I love Gorilla Monsoon. I'm going to preface this by saying that. However,
worst announcer ever, multiple years. So.
Oh well, yeah, according to a certain dirt rag. But anyway,
dirt sheet.
Oh yeah, people who still use the term dirt sheet are so out of touch. I've been told that, by the way.
Because you're just in touch, dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because when I think of in touch with the times, I think of Uncle Dave. But regardless, anytime I watch those old shows with Gorilla Monsoon, it's like, oh my gosh! Like my least favorite one is "It's a Happening." He used that on multiple shows. And he's like, WrestleMania 3, it's a happening. Like, shut up.
I remember I was binge watching some old WrestleManias, and because we were just talking about Ricky Steamboat during his entrance at WrestleMania 4. Yes, he was there. I always forget that he was in the tournament match.
Yeah,
he's carrying Richie to the ring. Can't remember if he's wife with him, but his son's with him. And Gorilla's like, well, he doesn't know what's going on, but he knows it's a happening. It's like,
good Lord. What? I never understood that one. It's a happening. Like, what? The venue for this one, as always, is the Impact Wrestling Zone in Orlando, Florida. The attendance 900, and the pay-per-view buy rate was 36,000.
And yes, I did buy this one.
Okay, yeah, I think you said you bought all of them this year, didn't you?
I believe I bought them all. Yes.
Okay. The show starts with Homicide and Hernandez coming out to the ring with Conan in a wheelchair.
Sorry, when he does that.
Right. He's being wheeled out by Machete. By the way, I misspoke a couple of weeks ago. I said Anarchia. It was Machete. So
whatever.
I still can't. I'm still trying to figure out how they got away with that, because I think the movie Machete came out before this.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't around very long. I think he was gone quickly.
He's like the third member of LAX to be like in and out. It was like, remember Apollo was there at first
for like
a week or two, and then they got Anarchia, and now they have Machete, and none of them are sticking around. Finally, they just stick with the two guys. Yeah.
You mean the best two ever?
Yeah, the only two I think of when I think of LAX.
Some nowadays will tell you it's Kingston and Santana Ortiz. Which apparently they're going to be a thing again, and I kind of like it, but that's not LAX to me.
Yeah, no, I want them to be a group. It's not LAX, but I want them to be a group. They stop and mean mug Hector Guerrero on commentary before coming to the ring. So that's setting up for what we talked about in the news. It is the Latin American exchange of Homicide and Hernandez with Conan and Machete taking on Team 3D of Brother Ray and Brother Devon in a tag team ghetto brawl.
Say that one more time, please.
It is a tag team ghetto brawl.
I'll make sure people know you didn't misspeak.
Nope. I didn't name it, so don't come complaining to me if you are some. Yeah, this isn't the first. This is the first, but not the last stupid stipulation on this card.
This isn't even the most stupid stipulation on this card, dude.
No, it. Oddly enough, it's one of the more sane ones.
We got a New Yorker, we got Mexicans, we got a black man, dude. They're gonna ghetto brawl, bro.
Yeah, Homicide's like, I'm Puerto Rican. He's like, whatever, bro, you're Mexican.
That's probably what he said.
Right. This one just shy of 15 minutes. The point of this one is to either pin someone or put them through a table. Because, you win a fight in the ghetto by putting somebody through the table.
Or maybe in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, right. Well, you got to set it on fire first, bro. Gone forever. Your Super Bowl dreams are gone forever, bro.
Oh, man.
I'm going to get flamed for that one. But these match types are so damn silly. They had a Little Italy street fight.
No, take that back.
They had a Little Italy street fight on, was it the last pay-per-view we covered?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they had a melting pot match, whatever the F that was. And now
I got one for you. Do you remember when Rhino fell off the wagon? They had the bar brawl at ringside, and him and James Storm, and the fear everywhere. Do you remember that?
Yes. And they had one.
That might be coming up here.
They had one with Team 3D versus Shark Boy and somebody. It was like a fish market.
The fish market brawl.
Yeah. They were.
I think it was Curry Man.
Frozen fish. Yeah, you're probably right. So effing stupid. Why did Team 3D? I get they did a lot of stupid stuff in ECW, but at least that one, it was garbage, but it made sense. This was just stupid. Holy crap. There's more still to come, by the way. We haven't even gotten to the review
of this match yet, and it just shows you how bad TNA is about to get. Which is funny because we've been hyping up how great 2007 is. Oh, the irony.
And this isn't the end of the stupid string of matches just with LAX, by the way. Before they branch off to doing stupid matches with other people. Towards the end of this one, the Latino Nation, which were a bunch of Hispanics dressed like train robbers, jumped Team 3D. There's a bunch of banditos running out. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a lot of them were actually white guys under there. They didn't even bother getting real Hispanic guys. But they
flashes back to when all the Stings invaded at Halloween Havoc and they had a black man as one of the Stings.
Yeah, that's the real him.
Being black dressing up like Sting, but when you're trying to fool everybody that one of these is the real Sting, pretty sure you can rule out the guy with the dark skin. Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, man, he was getting Starcade ready with that tan. Anyway, they come out, they jump Team 3D, and old-ass Johnny Rods runs his ass out to the ring to help Team 3D, and he just cleans house. Takes out 10 dudes like he's Walker, Texas Ranger. And then Homicide jumps him from behind.
Walker, wow. That was a throwback.
If anybody remembers the old Walker, Texas Ranger, he'd be surrounded by a gang of dudes with weapons. He's unarmed. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to go in one at a time and get roundhouse kicked instead of, shooting him or something. But then they all beat down Johnny Rods. After that, a bunch of black guys labeled Devon's brothers from Brooklyn run in. God dang it. They all
My
run
first
in.
note right here is, oh, good. We got race wars breaking out on a wrestling pay-per-view.
Why is this a thing with him? Russo, I mean. Because he did this crap in WWE.
Yeah, think about that. You're right. He had all the Puerto Rican guys were the Boricuas, all the white guys were bikers, all the black guys were Black Panther, like Nation of Islam. I forgot about that. I didn't even think about that. Holy crap.
That's just a thing with him. And this one sucked. That one wasn't blowing the doors off, but it was better than this. God. And then Mike Tenay says this with a straight effing face. He's like, it's Devon's brothers from Brooklyn. What? Obviously we didn't go back and watch Impact, but like, was this a thing?
I
Like,
don't remember, but
because I'm like, how did he know? Were we introduced to the quote brothers from Brooklyn, or is he just like, oh, the black guys have to be with Team 3D, and they're from Brooklyn, clearly?
That part I don't remember now.
God, that's so stupid and racist. But Machete then breaks up a pinfall after a 3D on Hernandez before being pulled out of the ring. Brother Ray dives off the top rope onto everyone outside. Alex Shelley now runs out with a video camera as if we don't
baby
need...
bear.
Wow. It's, because we don't have enough people interfering in this crap, Greg. We need Alex Shelley with a camera.
Well, someone's got to document the race wars for the future HBO documentary. Sorry that you don't see how this makes sense. Well, I'm here to correct you.
They're going to play the footage in black and white and slow it down to half speed. Epic voice guy over top of it. Good Lord. Anyway.
Hey, best voiceover guys in history, man.
Right.
Sad that he passed away.
I know. But Shelley gets on the apron with the camera, distracts Devon because Devon's dumb, I guess. And he cracks him in the head with a camera. And then frog splashes Devon through a table. This allows Homicide to pin him for the win. I took points off for how stupid this was. Uncle Dave gave this 3.5 stars. I gave it 2 because it was incredibly dumb. What say you?
I gave it 2 for the very exact same reason. It's like, you know what? I want to give it 1, but I was laughing. It's like, at the end of the day, if it's entertaining, I got to give points for that. And I did laugh and have fun watching it. And
the wrestling itself wasn't all crap, but the match itself, just like, yikes. How do you give this 3.5 stars? What is going through this guy's head? And he hated TNA.
If you're going to give something 3.5 stars based on like the match type, I guess.
Yeah, it's just
like when it comes to ghetto brawls, man, this is one of the better ones. So it's 3.5 stars. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, this that in.
This one's definitely going on the DVD.
Oh man.
We now go back with Jeremy Borash. Calls up Rhino to ask him about Elevation X. On your butts for that one. Which is basically an X-shaped scaffolding match. Rhino says that he's scared, and anyone would be. He talks about having to prepare for tonight's match. So, not a whole lot of substance to this one, just wasting time. We now go to this one.
The promo, the match was pay-per-view.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
We now go to this one. It is Miss Jackie Moore. Right. It's Miss Jackie Moore and James Storm versus Gail Kim and Petey Williams again, but this time it is a mixed tag bull rope match. Woo!
Now, at the time, I didn't know why this made sense. Like Gail Kim and Petey. I'm like, oh, they're both Canadian. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the Texas girl and the Tennessee guy. Okay, I guess. I don't know why I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make
it a weird pairing.
Yeah, but
because like we had pointed out on a previous podcast, she's from Texas. Her name in WCW, I think, for a little while was Miss Texas, or at least on the indie scene. And she's now being called the Pride of Tennessee. Like, what?
Oh, I mean, people always move to Tennessee from Texas, right?
Sure. Oh my God. That's like, and they're nowhere. They're not even close to each other if you look at a map. So it's like whatever, bro. It's a southern state. They're all the same, bro.
Y'all say y'all, and y'all, drink beer.
Y'all, all of you down in the South call every kind of pop Coke. Okay, so you're all the same.
Again, we're not trying to be funny here. This is the idiot's real thoughts.
I'm sure they are. But this one went just shy of 8 minutes. Yet another insanely stupid match type. Jackie gets wrapped around the ring post at one point while Gail repeatedly chops her. Tna obviously didn't mean it racially, but saying that the black woman, quote, got tied to the whipping post conjures up some bad imagery.
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man. About chopping her chest, Tna also says, that's a target you can't miss.
Wow.
My God. We get it. She's big up top. Okay. In the end, Petey sets Storm up for a Canadian Destroyer. Jackie low blows Petey out of the ref's view, and Storm hits the last call super kick for the win. Uncle Dave and I both gave it 1.5 stars. say you.
Gave it 1. This sucked. Did you just say low blows Petey? I mean, is that a innuendo too?
Good lord. Low blowed him in his little Petey. In his little Petey pump.
If you need a pump for your
Good
little
lord.
Petey, never mind. Anyway.
I know he popped up back in TN or Impact for a little while. Is he gone again?
I think he's in WWE as an agent now, actually.
Really?
I think so. That's what someone said.
Wow. Yeah, he was really good too. He was one of the reasons why I always liked watching TNA back in the day. He was a bad guy, but I always thought he was a damn good wrestler, and he was cool.
A bad guy until LAX turned him good by making him want to burn the American flag, and he's like, no.
Yeah, no. All the Americans are like, whatever. You get the Canadian to come out there and stand up for your country's honor. Good lord. Apparently, all the Americans are dickless, and he's like, well, I guess I can't allow this. Like, all right, you do you, Petey.
I mean, thanks. Apparently, no Americans that brave in that company. I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, like when Kane had to stand up for against the burning of the American flag in WWE, it's like, okay, cool, but him?
Okay, it makes sense now.
yeah. No, he's the devil's favorite libertarian.
Yeah, that was weird too.
Maybe he was like I don't know. Maybe he's like Frankenstein, where he's like, they're gonna burn the American flag. Fire bad. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it. But backstage, Letitia Klein is being flirted with by Scott Steiner. Hell yeah. I think she did Playboy. But either way, Letitia Klein is being flirted with by Scott Steiner, because of course she is. She finally reminds him that
he's a pretty blonde. I must say stuff.
Hey, he's a pretty blonde too, so whatever.
Sure, we'll say he's blonde.
But she reminds him that he's got a match with Kurt Angle tonight, and asks if he should be worried. Steiner says Kurt should be worried about him, and he says that his offense is impeccable, his defense is indefensible, and his love is insatiable. He says, quote, his wife already knows I'm the man. Now he's going to find out I'm the man. I don't know why that popped me. Christian Cage bursts in and says that he's looking for Scott. He says he needs Scott's help watching his back because Tomko is in Japan on business. Like he's got a life of his own or something. I freaking love Christian. Steiner says that he's only worried about Kurt Angle, so Christian is on his own. He takes off, and then Christian grabs Letitia and leads her out of the locker room. By the way, is this just me, or was his audio, like her mic audio was horrible all night?
Yeah, clearly.
I had to crank the volume up to hear anything Christian was saying.
First of all, that tells me this was done live. And second of all, you think they would have caught it after the first time.
Yeah, it's like nobody in the production truck's like, hey, she's coming in low, crank it up. Like, really? Everybody's just like, whatever. Let it play.
I got to point out, people talk about Kevin Dunn, but you don't see that on WWE TV. Just saying.
This next one is the Austin Star versus Sen Shi in a cross-faced chicken wing submission match. Because, when I think of these two guys, I think of a cross-faced chicken wing submission match.
Hell yeah. Every match, by the way, has had some weird-ass stipulation so far.
Yep, and we're not done. But goes for about 11 minutes. Bob Backlund comes to the ring near the end, which distracts Austin Starr. This allows Senshi to get an O'Connor roll into a chicken wing.
Sorry, it distracts who?
I'm not going to say it every time. All right, you get one.
Yeah, well, Mr. Ohio, yes, you should.
I only say it for one thing and one thing only, okay? He does not rank.
Austin Starr.
Oh, God. But either way, Senshi hits an O'Connor roll into the chicken wing for the submission win. Uncle Dave gives it 3 1/4 stars.
Good Lord.
I gave it 3 even. I actually really dug. I dig anything these two do. So, what do you give it?
I gave it 2. I really liked it, but not like it wasn't like great.
Yeah.
But
I may have.
This may be the best match of the night so far. I'll say that. So
yeah, I was gonna say I may have bumped it up a little bit because this is the best thing I've seen all night thus far. So that might have in my mind like given it a boost. But yeah, I don't know, man. Bob Backlund after this match awkwardly gets in and puts his hand out to shake with Senshi, but Starr shoves Senshi into Backlund. He looks like Rain Man.
Howdy Doody and Rain Man.
Right? That works. Oh, God. But Starr shoves Senshi into Backlund. Star then locks in a chicken wing on Backlund until referees break it up. Yay! This is going to continue. Woohoo! But I don't know if it's just me. I've never given a damn about Bob Backlund. Not even kind of.
I can't even remember if I did or not, so I'm going to say I didn't. If I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff with the chicken wing and him going nuts is, funny, haha, but yeah.
But backstage, Jeremy Borash is standing by with AJ Styles. Styles says that Rhino is only in the situation he's in because he keeps putting his nose in AJ's business. So now Styles is going to embarrass him and put him down.
Well, he's right,
Right. Christy Hemme now comes to the ring to announce her mystery tag team. And then she's
how roll tide is she?
That kind of goes without saying. When they come out, Kip James asks Christy how, quote, that strip club thing is working out for her. Oh, Lord. This whole thing was... what got me was they keep playing up, like, Christy as, like, the heel. And I'm like, okay, I think... Like, at first, I think she was the heel because she was, like... She came out and interrupted them and got really obnoxious and whiny. And then Kip, like, went way overboard. So to me, I'm like, all right, at some point, she's not the bad guy anymore in this situation. But,
bro, sexism, bro.
Yeah, right. Bro, get in the kitchen, bro. Oh, like, it's got to be what he's thinking, because this is just effed up. Either way.
I like how we're sitting there trying to convince ourselves, oh, no, we know this, dude.
Right. Kip says
he's literally been on audio saying nobody cares about Japanese wrestlers. So clearly he's sexist and racist.
Right. And just the stuff he would have women do all the time, like never took it seriously. It's, yeah. But Kip says that he doesn't know what tag team would work for a woman. Then he spouts off a bunch of sexist, sexual stuff. God. Christy then says that VKM aren't real men, they're little boys. She then introduces her tag team, the Heartbreakers. God. So it's the Voodoo Kin Mafia, BG and Kip James versus the Heartbreakers of Antonio Thomas and Romeo Rosselli with Christy Hemme in their corner.
Formerly the Heartthrobs, by the way.
Yeah, if anybody remembers them from early 2000 or mid 2000s WWE. This one went about 9 minutes. The Heartbreakers look and act like two Jersey Shore rejects.
I don't even think Jersey Shore's a thing yet.
I know. So are you telling me the show ripped them off?
Are they groundbreakers?
Bro, Jim Tan wrestle, bro.
Wow.
The crowd chants that the Heartbreakers suck something. I think you can put two and two together.
This is Orlando, by the way. This isn't Philly, so it's
yeah. This is what a progressive crowd, man. But anyway, the ref isn't looking. Hemme tries to low blow Kip and hurts her own arm. Kip then pulls a cup out of his trunks, and shoves it into Christy's face.
That hasn't been overdone in wrestling.
Yeah, and then shoving it into her face. It's just this whole thing is just like. Lance Hoyt.
They're trying to be DX again, obviously, and it's failing miserably.
Yep. Nobody wants DX without Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Like, hey, you know what would be cool is if we had DX, but it's only the Outlaws. Said no one.
You mean only the guys they brought in when HBK went down? Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. They don't even have X-Pac with them here. That would make it a little more tolerable. Damn. Lance Hoyt, who is he's had so many names. He's Lance Archer.
He's Lance Hoyt here. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, he's Lance Archer in AEW. If anybody wants to know,
but
he comes out. He was Dallas, Lance Hoyt, Lance Rock, Vance Archer, and now Lance Archer. Did I get them all?
Vance Hoyt is coming one day.
Good Lord, I would laugh so hard. That would be the worst name of all time.
Vance Hoyt. Sounds like a horrible soap opera actor name. Starring Vance Hoyt.
To me, it sounds like the guy who was like the high school quarterback that peaked in high school and never went on to college.
Oh, Al Bundy was a quarterback, but close enough.
Right. He comes out. Kip paddles Christy's ass before handing her off to Lance, who carries her to the back. My God. In the end, Antonio eats a pump handle slam from BG, and VKM gets the pinfall win. Uncle Dave gave it a half a star. I gave it a star and a half. The wrestling stuff wasn't good. What say you?
I gave it 1. This was stupid.
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel like we lied to our audience when we said, no, this is our favorite year. Or, well, no. I mean, like, you can't lie about your favorite. I think we lied when we said this was a good year. I mean, it was a pretty good year, but not everywhere. Maybe we need to put like an asterisk on there or something.
Hey, look, man, they can't all be first-round picks. All
That's
right?
true.
So it's they're not batting 1,000 here. They're not. I don't even know if they're batting 500, but we'll find out by the end of this year. But after this match, Lance Hoyt comes out to congratulate VKM as they leave. Christy Hemme storms out with a riding crop for some reason and screams at the Heartbreakers as Kip laughs at them. See, I thought the riding crop was going to get used, but it did not.
Why would you think that? Because they show it?
Yeah. So that begs the question. So that means she got taken to the back, and before she came back out, she found her riding crop. Before coming out of the ring, why? Just to show that she has it?
I'm just going to be quiet and like try to figure out why the hell you're trying to make sense of this. But, whatever. To each his own, dude. You have fun.
Yeah, I guess it's my fault for trying to think while watching. But backstage, Christian Cage leads Letitia Klein to that solitary confinement cage from Against All Odds. God, and, because we want to be reminded. For some reason, Abyss is still inside, rocking back and forth. So, yeah. Christian tries to get friendly with Abyss, saying that he genuinely cares about him. Then he says he brought him a signed picture of himself.
I believe that.
Oh, yeah. He reads what he wrote on the picture, which says, "To Abyss, my dear, dear friend, from the Instant Classic, never pinned, never submitted, never beaten. If you know, you know. Or if you don't know, now you know. Christian Cage, etc., etc., etc." I had to write that all down because that was awesome. I wish he would have signed my picture that way at WrestleCon. That would have been awesome.
Probably could have asked him to. He's the coolest dude in the world when you meet him.
I know. I should have, but I forgot that was a thing. I should have been like, "Hey, can you sign it to my dear, dear friend from the Instant Classic? Never pinned, never submitted, never beaten. If you don't know, now you know." He probably would have been like, "The F is wrong with you?"
This is grammatically, it should be, "If you didn't know, now you know."
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it's saying if you don't know, then no, you don't now know. So again, Greg, why are you thinking with your brain?
I don't know.
Stop it.
I'm just trying to sound smart so people don't think I only make wrestling podcasts. I know something. I know my ass from hole in the ground. I don't know.
Hey, that's a rare commodity nowadays, man. Anyway, Cage then says,
"It really is in this world.
We gotta have fun with it somehow, man."
All right.
Man. But Cage then says that since he did something for Abyss, Abyss should now do something for him. He says that he's kept Abyss's secret, and Abyss gets angry and starts huffing and puffing. Cage says that after Abyss takes out Sting tonight, maybe he can help him with Samoa Joe. He says that Joe claimed that if he found Abyss before Sting did, that there would be some trouble. Abyss finally gets out of the cage and acts like he's going to punch Christian before putting out a fist to bump. Christian fist bumps Abyss and gets super excited before walking off. Because when I look at Abyss, I think he's the fist-bumping type.
Hell yeah. I see some sarcasm in there.
So effing weird, man. But up next is a best 2 out of 3 falls for the TNA X Division title. It is Chris Sabin defending against Jerry Lynn. I got it right this time.
Yes, you did. Remember how we were talking about best match the night before?
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to pick it up.
Yeah, here we go. This one is about 12 and a half minutes. Jerry Lynn takes fall number 1 with a tornado DDT for a pin. Lynn goes for a Hurricane Rana. Sabin turns it into a powerbomb and uses the ropes in a jackknife cover to win the second fall. A bald person in all black clothes runs out wearing a Sting mask, clearly Christopher Daniels. And he runs out and jumps on the apron, distracting the ref and Jerry Lynn. This leads to Sabin hitting the second cradle shock in the match and winning the third and final fall. Uncle Dave, he gave it 2 3/4 stars. I gave it an even 3. What say you?
I gave it 3. I can easily tell you best match of the whole night.
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn looked amazing too, by the way.
That is back to give out.
Yeah, right. I mean, when talking about how old he is here, he looked amazing for that.
Oh, for sure.
I also feel like he's one of the more forgotten great wrestlers in history, dude. Nobody talks about that man ever, and it's a crime.
It goes up there with what we're going to be talking about in the somebody we're going to be talking about in the bonus show this Friday. Horrible promo. Even if you think he's a good wrestler, which Jerry Lynn is, like you said, amazing in the ring. But man, his promos kind of sucked.
You think somebody that sold 15 million albums could cut a good promo?
My gosh. Why didn't he just start every, he should have started every promo with, look at this photograph. It's a picture of him. It's a picture of him pinning his last opponent.
Coincidentally, by the way, that all started with his opponent's partner, Alex Shelley. He started this. I never caught it until he said it. That ass.
It's fairly accurate, though. But the Masked Man...
He's got two funny ones in history. That one, and when he said he's been winning titles longer than the Young Bucks had their Hardy Boys starter kits.
God,
so, yeah. I don't know which one I love. I don't know which one I love more.
Right. But the Masked Man gets in the ring and hits Angel's wings on Chris Sabin before unmasking to reveal that it's Christopher Daniels.
Wait, I knew it!
Yeah, with a slightly new look, by the way. He's got like a beard and he painted some weird symbol around his eye. Yeah, I don't know.
It went Raven on us, just paint random stuff on there. It changes you. Right. That's what Raven used to do.
Yep. Grow your beard out a little more. It would have been funny if, since he was supposed to be the higher power, he should have unmasked and been like, it was me, Sabin. It was me all along. I would have popped for that one. But he picks up the X Division title and stares at it before laying out Jerry Lynn with it. He picks Lynn up and hits the Last Rites on him, which he hasn't done that move in years, if I remember correctly. Hey, maybe he can start, if he actually sticks around in AEW, maybe he can start doing it again because Cody's gone. I
was about to say, dude, he had a cameo on in AEW last week, and now I haven't seen him again.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we're in Cornette's office with Jeremy Borash, and Cornette says that Thursday night on Impact, he'll have a major announcement about the Lockdown pay-per-view. I can't remember what the hell it was.
I don't remember what it was. Please don't ask me.
Yeah, so because he said it's about the Lockdown pay-per-view and the next innovation coming to TNA. Oh, it was the electrified steel cage, wasn't it?
Oh, was that what it was?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know why, but I thought it was that was at Bound for Glory. I don't remember why, but I thought that's where that took place. Okay, that makes sense.
It could have even been the X-Scape match. So I don't know. It was one.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess we'll cover it next one, so we'll know.
Yeah. Right. So remember when I told you the stupid match stipulations weren't done with Team 3D and LAX? There you go. But anyway,
I still rails against that to this day
because it sucked and it looked like crap. But not to bury our next show, but come on, Christy Hemme bursts in.
There's actually a couple of good matches on that show though, so it's okay.
Right. Christy Hemme bursts in and Cornette gets annoyed. She says VKM hasn't seen the last of her and says that she has stuff up her sleeve that none of them have seen before. Cornette says, I don't know about that. Hey, if you're looking for a job, I have a secretary spot open. Do you take dictation? What's with all the sexist stuff?
Okay, I'm not laughing that he said that. It's like, wow.
That's just like, it's one thing after another with this company.
And here's the thing. I don't think Cornette would ever listen to, what's he called Russo again?
Crap stain, I'll clean it up.
Yes, okay. I don't think he would ever listen to Crap Stain, so this had to be him just saying it, right? Which is kind of ironic, all the crap he talks about everything. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. This was just horrible, though. Like, the Christy Hemme stuff had to be some of the worst stuff in the year 2007. That's all I got to say. I mean, it's going.
What did she do so wrong to label her as, like, a quote-unquote a lady of the nights? We'll keep it clean. What did she do to get called that by everybody? She was just a damn announcer, for crying out loud.
Yep.
Not a good one, but an announcer.
But all right, man, we're up to this one now. It is Rhino versus AJ Styles in Elevation X. It went 12 and a half minutes.
Strap the old feedback on for this one, folks.
I will say this about this match. It's not as bad as I remember.
Wow, that's literally right here in my notes. I'm like, not as bad as you would think. I mean, because of a couple of things that AJ does, which we'll get into. But
yeah, I mean, it's not great. I'm not going to pretend like this was a great match, but it wasn't like, as far as scaffolding matches go, It didn't suck.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this like I do with movies. Okay, a movie doesn't need to be an Oscar winner for me to like it, but at least do something for me to enjoy.
Right.
And
I guess, like, from what I was reading in, like, the news articles or whatever, both of these guys, all the way leading up to this, were like, I'm not comfortable with this match. And they really weren't feeling it, which I don't blame them. And they probably had Cornette sitting there in their ear like, I blew out both my knees on one of them mother effers.
well, if you've ever heard his review of this, he hated it. He didn't know why the hell they did this. And thought this was one of the dumber ideas they've ever done. Like, that's saying something.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean...
Also, not to get real too far ahead, but why did this become Rhino's match? He did it again next year.
Yeah, right.
Like, what about Rhino, the 300-pound dude that's like a big badass from Detroit, says, I want him in a scaffold match 2 years in a row.
Yeah, right. And
you throw your exhibition guys in there, that's one thing. But Rhino?
Well, that was the thing with like, people complain about the Midnight Express. They're like, okay, so they're one of the best tag teams in all of NWA. They're very versatile. They fly around the ring. Let's put them on a scaffold.
Yeah.
Like, repeatedly. That was, quote-unquote, their match.
You could throw the Road Warriors in there, too.
Yeah,
a lot of these big brawlers do. Like a scaffold match.
That one I could forgive because it's like they can still punch and kick and, do like one or two slams.
I guess also they're like big-ass dudes who want to kill dudes by throwing them off. Okay, yeah. But still.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to do something like this. It should be for the smaller dudes. Remember when, and again, too far into the weeds here, but remember when WCW did it with Shane Douglas and Torrie Wilson?
God,
Kidman, and who was his partner? Was it Medusa, I think? Somebody.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think scaffold match. I think of Torrie Wilson.
God. These two men fight for a while before even climbing up the structure. Once up top, they fight for a while as everyone in the crowd is honestly freaking out. They keep showing crowd shots and everybody's like looking shocked. Rhino decides to put his hair in a ponytail at one point, and when he's doing this, he loses AJ, who crawls inside of the steel structure and hides. Fans help Rhino locate Styles.
Real quick, my favorite part of the entire match right here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is what bumped my rating up a little bit. If I'm not to get too far ahead, but seriously, this right here did it for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But the fans kind of help Rhino figure out where Styles is, and he pulls Styles out. After a while, AJ pulls powder out of his tights, and Rhino smacks it into AJ's eyes. Rhino then hits a gore, and AJ ends up slipping off.
Sure, we'll call that a gore.
Yeah, he basically just like shoulder bumped him, and AJ laid down.
No, dude, I believe Rhino literally put him down gently, like you would your little baby into a damn crib. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying throw him off and kill him. I'm just saying it was horrible.
Yeah, right. It's like he didn't want. I'm assuming he just didn't. It's like if I hit you too hard, you might go flying, and yeah, you're gonna die.
And not to be selfish about it, but he might go flying himself.
Right? Yeah. But AJ ends up slipping off, and he's like hanging on the edge. Rhino keeps stomping on AJ's hands, finally causing him to fall, giving Rhino the win. Uncle Dave and I gave it 2 stars. What say you?
I had it at 1 until I saw AJ do that disappearing thing, because I forgot all about that. Like, this is fun. I'll give it 2. I thought that was clever.
For the match type, what they did with it, I had to give this thing 2 stars. Because
I also remember going into this initially thinking someone was legitimately going to fall, like from the top to the ring, like get thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, the way AJ fell was, it's still dangerous, but it was more controlled.
Right.
So,
and he took a back bump, which is honestly probably the safer route to go than if he would have landed on his feet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, we saw what happened, and it was a little higher, but we saw what happened to Cornette when he landed on his feet. Blew out both of his knees, or one of his knees.
Well, he also did admit that he locked up when he was falling, which you shouldn't ever do.
Oh, no,
it's kind of his fault, too. I mean, not to say that he deserved it. I know people don't like Cornette, but I'm not for seeing anyone get hurt.
He said he blew out his other knee because he was standing on there was like a table. It was like half on the apron, and he was standing on it, and somebody yanked the table out from under his feet, and he blew out his knee with the way he fell.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think that was the time when he had the tuxedo match with Paul E. And he said,
that gym.
Yeah, he said it was right before that, and his knee was all swelled up, so he put on a knee brace and tight as possible so he couldn't get any circulation. They put a neck brace on AJ, and stretcher him out of the arena. The play-up package for the next match reminds us that Scott Steiner hates Kurt Angle because he thinks Angle coming in ruined his chances of getting more money. He says that he should have been the big star that TNA signed, but Kurt Angle came in and stopped any chance of a bigger money deal for Steiner. Sure, that's what stopped it. Yeah, right. We go backstage with Jeremy Borash standing by with Kurt Angle. Angle said Steiner was a consultant last month and cost Angle the NWA title. Now he's going to be a victim. Angle says that he came to TNA to make it bigger and to prove that he's the best in the world. Steiner, however, came to TNA for greed. He says he wasn't given Steiner's spot. He took it.
So, two things here. No, number one, the victim is all the viewers.
God.
Second, in what world is, if you want to prove you're the best in the world, you got to go to TNA.
Right. It's like, I think you went to
your company over and all that, but really?
I think you went to TNA because you refused to go to rehab. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm not wrong.
I think as the time of this recording, we just saw another instance like that in modern day wrestling. So,
yeah.
There you go.
I wonder if they have P tests in AEW. Anyway.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I know. Me too. But
say what you want about their elite guys. Those are probably the ones you don't need to worry about. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. Like Omega and all that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they keep it clean.
Yeah. So, that's kind of telling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Bucks clearly do because they're good Christian boys. So
I'm sure they choke, but I don't count that. I don't think anybody does.
To look like that, I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah. Did you catch that false start on Steiner's theme?
Yes. It happens quite a few times in TNA. I don't know why.
I know. It's like somebody hits the button. They're like, oops. It's like you hear the siren and then they like shut it off.
What's funny about it too is it's such a distinct song. It's not just a note or two. It's a damn siren.
Right.
So you're going to catch it every time.
I like how he kept a variation of that same song in 3 different companies, by the way.
Right.
But yeah, and the thing is, it's like, I was like, oh, well, okay, so they're not going to go on with the match now. I mean, kind of, but we pan across for more crowd shots for like 5 minutes while Mike Tenay and Don West just talk about how AJ took a scary bump and they're worried about his condition. Like, there was nothing to this. I'm like, why are we not starting now?
Hold on. I'm trying to think. Were they taking Elevation X apart?
I think it was down already because they started with that wide shot.
Well, the pillars are still there, right? Or were they still there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I mean, they start with a wide shot, and I don't remember seeing it. But maybe you're right. I don't know.
It's little stuff like that I have to take notes about, but I didn't realize they carried on for 5 minutes. So you just said that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it went on, and I was like, why do we just keep getting shots of the crowd?
Because if you think back to old WWF pay-per-views with the big blue bar steel cage, they used to take a lot of time talking to announcers in the crowds and all that while putting it up or taking it down.
I know. It'd go on for 15, 20 minutes.
Which is generally why back in the day, the blue or the old school cage was always the last match. If you go back and think about it.
So that they didn't have to take 2 intermissions.
Except at SummerSlam 97, I believe was the opening match.
Yeah. Well, that one works too, if you're going to have it in the opener. Well, the... what was the like WCW used to do crap like that all the time. It'd be like mid-show they'd have to set a bunch of crap up and then tear it down.
Yeah, I could be wrong this too. I think they were the first company to start lowering the cage from the top. Because I think they started doing that before WWE was even using mesh. So,
yeah, they definitely did with a War Games cage every single time. So because they had to pre-assemble that big ass thing. So.
Which is now small in comparison to everything else we see, which is kind of ironic.
Right. This next match is Scott Steiner versus Kurt Angle, just shy of 12 minutes. Steiner comes to the ring with 2 random beautiful women, I guess to prove that he's the big bad booty daddy, whatever that means.
Which one of them was olive oil in the park?
Good Lord. This is honestly, in my opinion, you're probably going to have a completely different one based on what you said earlier, but I honestly think this is one of the best matches I've seen Steiner have since he became Big Papa Pump. I mean, yeah, it's Kurt Angle. So
I literally have that written in my notes. This was Scott Steiner's best match, like in TNA, and he will never have a better one than this.
There was another one. Was it with Samoa Joe?
It's the next month. He has a pretty good one, but it's not as good as it's at Slammiversary. It's not as good as this though.
was
it's good.
Well, it was one that you and I reviewed, one that he had where you and I were like, wow, that was actually a really good match. And he did a lot of wrestling in it, like actual like mat wrestling and stuff. So I
want to say it was Slammiversary.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but in the end, Steiner goes for a top rope belly-to-belly suplex, but Angle gets behind him for a sunset flip and the win. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.25 stars. I actually gave it, for Steiner's effort and everything, I actually gave it 3 stars.
As did I.
I thought it was really good.
1.25 stars. I thought this was really good.
I know. I really liked it. I dug it. Oh, whatever. I don't know. I'm like, what were you expecting, man? It's Scott Steiner. Like,
that's why I gave it 3. You got to give it leeway for that.
Yeah, considering everything that he's, with him, like, yeah, I wasn't expecting anything better than this. So I don't know.
Kurt Angle, and I will admit, you got to give credit for that. But I am also of the mind, I don't care how great you are, you need someone to perform with you. I will never buy into that. But having Kurt Angle does, bump it up enough.
I don't think Steiner sucked. Like there were times he did, but like I don't think he was always just like suck.
I think the easier statement is there were times when he was good, and this is one of them.
Right.
That's a lot easier to say. Sucks.
That's true. We now go backstage with Jeremy Borash again, standing by with Samoa Joe. Joe says that he's been caged and unable to get what he deserves, the world title. He says that tonight he's uncaged and he will not be denied what is owed to him. He then tells Abyss that if he comes down to the ring tonight, he'll feel Joe's wrath as well. Now, in the build-up package for the next match, we see what's been happening in the past month. We learn that James Mitchell admits that he's domesticated Abyss and he's using him as his meal ticket. Sting also reveals that Abyss was in prison for shooting his own father in the back and putting him in a coma. Sting is still looking to take out James Mitchell so that Abyss doesn't have the, quote, devil in his ear any longer. So that
we know where that's going to go.
Yeah. And that leads us to this. There's a watch-along on YouTube, if any of you guys want to check that out. We did a watch-along especially for this for you. So, you, the people. So I hope you all enjoy that and check it out.
And, I'm quick to sometimes back away when Troy makes decisions that I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. This was all me. So anyone's going to laugh at us for doing this watch along, I'll take the heat for this one.
Hey, it was fun. I laughed a lot. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. But either way, it is Sting versus Abyss in a Last Rites match. Went about 9.5 minutes. What is a Last Rites match, you may ask? Well, the point of this one, besides pissing everybody off, is to have a casket, which they called the deathbed, lowered from the ceiling. You throw your opponent into the deathbed and close the casket, and then the casket will raise to the ceiling. So it's like a casket match with more steps.
Yes.
There are also haunted house looking decorations around, like candle holders in each corner.
I legitimately thought this was menorahs, by the way.
Yeah, if everybody goes and listens to the watch along, like, nope. And I also point out, because I actively see it during the watch along, they're made out of rubber. Because when they get hit, they bend and wobble.
We watched the watch along, which is funny.
Yeah. This is the famous match where the crowd chants "Fire Russo" about 2 minutes into this one.
Full disclosure, that's why I wanted to do the watch along to this.
Right. Well, Sting gets hit with one of the rubber candlesticks and is just pouring blood like he had a scalpel taken to him. You know what? God bless his little heart, man, trying to make this work. He's really trying out there, to make this freaking matter. So,
he's got his working boots on.
Right. Abyss brings a headstone into the ring. Sting puts it over Abyss's head and shatters it with a baseball bat. I did not misspeak on any of that, by the way.
Oh, we did not.
Abyss ends up choke slamming Sting through the top of the casket. Later, Abyss makes a, quote, table by taking a tombstone and putting it on top of 2 chairs that are set up. But Sting hits him with a candlestick. Abyss falls off the top rope and goes through the tombstone as well. God. After that, Sting drags Abyss into the casket and closes it. Uncle Dave gives us a dud. I gave it a star because, god dang it, they tried. What say you?
A star.
Suck. Whole thing sucked. Yikes.
Russo.
Sting lays on the casket and it starts to raise up. Then he ends up sliding off after a while. Whatever. We now go backstage again for Letitia Klein standing by with Christian Cage. Cage complains that Tomko isn't there, Steiner abandoned him, and now Abyss has been taken out. Great Muta ends up walking in with a translator, and Christian basically asks Muta for help while simultaneously saying that he's better than Muta. Finally, Muta rips off his head cover thing. I don't know, that the thing he used to wear over his head when he came to the ring. He rips it off and sprays green mist at a locker. He then threatens to spray mist at Christian. Christian backs out of the room nervously.
I would have ran out of the room, but
this doesn't go anywhere if I remember correctly. So
it does not. That's why I kept saying I don't remember him ever having a match there.
I think he was part of a couple tag team matches, and that was about it.
I really don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like the World Cup things. You remember when they used to do that?
I do. I feel like Mexico won it every year.
Yeah, I want to say Team USA won it one time. And like Team USA wasn't even like, I don't know, they all had to be Americans. I know because like there were, I think they basically just got us like, oh, have you lived in America?
Because Sanjay Dutt was on it.
Yeah. And they always played up that he was from the Himalaya. Like, all right.
It was the original player from the Himalaya.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Samoa Joe gets Samoan lady dancers and male fire dancers to come out on the stage for his entrance. According to Jim Cornette, Samoa Joe hated this, thinking it was demeaning. However, I don't know if I believe that because Joe, like in interviews, said he like grew up, his whole family did this kind of stuff and like did performances like this, and he participated in it. So I think Cornette might be full of it.
I have known Samoan people who take a lot of pride in doing this. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Male or female. This is like a huge thing in their culture. So, yeah. I think if you don't like this, you're disrespecting your own culture. At least this is how I felt from like the way they talk about it.
I remember I don't remember where the interview was, but he was talking about his family did like those kind of performances on stages and whatever. And because I remember he said his dad or somebody was like, get out there and dance, fool. When Joe gets in the ring, he gets tons of streamers thrown at him like it's either Japan or Ring of Honor. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did too.
But here's where we're going to take our final break. When we come back, it's the main event of the evening. Or, I'm sorry, it's our second to last break. And it's the main event after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game, and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back. It's Christian Cage defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Samoa Joe. This one went 17 minutes, 43 seconds. These two brawl through the crowd for a while in this one. Joe kicks out of an unprettier. Christian escapes a coquina clutch. Christian tries to leave at one point and take the count-out loss. However, he gets cut off on the stage by Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Senshi, and Petey Williams, who tell him to get back in the ring. Like the ragtag group there. Joe ends up
I haven't heard that word in years.
Joe ends up accidentally kicking the ref in the face.
In the face.
Taking him out. Right. So Cage blasts Joe with a chair. Joe ends up countering Christian and hitting the muscle buster. The ref wakes up and Christian kicks out. Christian low blows his way out of a coquina clutch, goes up top, but he gets stopped, and Joe pulls him out into the center of the ring with a coquina clutch. But when Joe drops down with it, Christian rolls back into a pin and gets the 3. Uncle Dave gave this 4 stars. I actually gave it, I don't know. I'm going back and forth between 2.5 and 3. It was good, but I didn't think it was amazing. What say you?
I definitely gave it 3. 4 stars, though, would say it was better than the X title match, and I don't think it was.
Nah.
I don't even think this was better than Steiner and Angle, even though I gave it the same rating, but I don't think it was better than that, oddly enough.
Yeah, I'm like, 4 stars? Like, damn, dude. Like, are they feeding you backstage information or something?
I do remember watching this, and like the same feeling I have with AEW today, I have with this. Like, oh my God, a non-WWE guy's never going to have that title. And that's how I felt, because it kept me in Christian, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe had a cup of coffee with it. And then they went to Sting, not necessarily a WWE guy, but wasn't a TNA guy. And it just used to tick me off. Like, they're just relying on the WWE guy so much.
Yep. I thought Christian was a great champion, but yeah, it went from him to Angle after this, and the Angle freaking dominated for like ever. I don't know. And then before that was Jeff Jarrett, and
it would eventually pivot to Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson. I mean, do you see a pattern here, folks?
Yep, Rob Van Dam and AJ. Well, that's
Rob Van Dam I was more okay with, because I felt like he wasn't ever going to get the world title, was deserved it somewhere else, and never did. So that one I kind of gave a pass to.
Well, he'd been WWE champion by that point.
But for a month, I didn't count that. Although that was his own dumbass fault, but still.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. After the match, Christian Cage practically makes out with the NWA World Title. Not that I needed 10 minutes of pose downs, but why end the match 30 seconds before you have to cut the pay-per-view feed? Like, didn't you notice
that 5 minutes of crowd panning? I did, but they did this a lot in TNA, though.
I know.
It wasn't just this. But that 5 minutes of crowd panning, though, really came back. The one you mentioned earlier.
Right.
After Elevation X.
Yeah. Yeah, this one I always hated that. It was like, 1, 2, 3, Christian wins. Yay. All right. Well, good night, everybody.
See you on Thursday. Yeah, they did this a lot,
They did it. It wasn't just the end of the show either. They would do this at the end of big matches all the time. It's like, oh my God, they finally won the tag titles. To the back.
Yep.
Like, dude, let it breathe. You don't constantly have to throw bullcrap in there. It gets old after a while. But I guess we're going to take our final break. When we come back, it's final ratings time, and we're going to tell you what's coming up next week on the podcast and this Friday, right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back. Final ratings time. Internet Movie Database gives this 7.1 out of 10. cagematch.net gives it 6.30 out of 10, and I gave it 7 out of 10. It wasn't very good. What say you?
I gave it 7. I didn't hate it, or sorry, C+. So I didn't hate it, but I got to watch back all the rest of them. I haven't watched all of them back yet for this year, obviously, but I feel like this is probably the weakest one we've done so far.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's Destination X. Usually this was a fun show, but yeah, I mean, that first tag match was just a mess. The bull rope match sucked. I'm trying to see. VKM versus the Heartbreakers sucked. Elevation X was what it was. Yeah, and then of course the Last Rites match. So they had a lot of bull crap on this. Plus and this was a TNA staple, but just like tons and tons of backstage shenanigans. Like
TNA staple, but more of a Vince Russo thing too.
Yeah, like bro, more segments. Like he just loved to.
Nobody wants to see wrestling, bro. Apparently, that's a real statement from him, by the way.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, you watch the way he books. I mean, and there's something we said for like scripting promos, not scripting promos. Like, I don't feel like they should hand you like a 5-page script and be like, memorize all this. You know, bullet points are nice, but I'm watching what's coming up, you know, from the NWA from '88 right now, and I'm like, man, if you ever want a case for why you should script people, this show right here, man. Some of these promos
format.
Some of these promos are brutal. But we'll get to it this Friday. Speaking of which, I keep talking about it. This Friday on the podcast is Double Main Event Week. We're going all the way back to 1988 for NWA Clash of the Champions 1.
This show may be a lot better than people think.
Yeah, I'm in the process of watching it. I'm about halfway through. It's not a bad show.
I'm not gonna lie. I considered not watching the entire thing of the 45-minute draw. I ended up watching it with a friend, and man, that match holds up so well. I'm glad I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch that again. I haven't seen it in years. So, yeah, it's I mean, for anybody that doesn't know what he's talking about, it's Sting versus Flair. I think it's the first time they ever faced off, isn't it?
It's in a big match situation. I don't know if that's the first time ever, but
it's for the NWA title, the big gold, and this
Curly
show
Hell by Matt Cardona, always ready.
Wow,
that's something to think about.
Yeah, right. That's nuts. Hey, he holds the was it Globe Dome or Dome Globe? That's it. 10 pounds of the 10 pounds of gold. We'll just call it that. But
I don't know why you were struggling. That's literally what it's called. But
right. And I don't know. The show so far, like I said, has been pretty good. The promos could use some work, but other than that, and not everybody, but there are some people where it's like, why did you give this guy a live mic?
Yeah. God rest his soul, man, but Dr. Death, that's all I'm going to say.
I wrote down his promo verbatim. We were going to go over that on the show.
It was one of the worst promos I've ever heard. And it was clearly live. This was not taped.
Yeah, he's stuttering all over the place, too. Like, he doesn't know what he wants to say. He's like trying to figure it out as he's going. And he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about either, which, again, we'll get into it. But, man, I was like, dude, why did anybody think, we need to keep having Dr. Death cut promos? Every time he cut a promo, it was god-awful. And I know you said you weren't a fan of his wrestling either. I didn't think he was terrible. He had some good stuff in Japan. Just this was... Ugh. But this show competed with WrestleMania 4, by the way. It was literally on at the same time on free TV.
I was watching this back with a friend. What were we doing? We were getting ready to watch... It might have been getting ready to watch... Revolution, and we're watching this back, and we're like, I'm looking at the matches going on. I'm like, okay, what match is going on right now? I'm looking at all the. I couldn't do it, obviously, but
yeah,
like, the first couple matches were against these matches. Like, I think this might have had a better show.
Yeah, WrestleMania 4 was not a good show. Like, it's not. If anything, it's going to be in people's bottom 5 of WrestleManias of all time. And it kind of sucks.
Way bottom because 9/11 exists, but yeah.
It's got a good argument for being there in the bottom 3 though. But I mean, there's also 27 that's up there. It's not great, but still better than Mania 4. So yeah, I mean, they had a good outing with this one. They just like, they were on free TV. They had to not suck. I mean, it was all set up for them, man. So,
and all 5 of their tag titles on the line too.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know. I know. And I
know we're getting into a tangent, but I just love how Cornette rags on WWE for having multiple titles now, and here he is, smack dab in the middle of the heart of it all. Man, interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's like I know he wasn't the one booking it, but like, good Lord, like this was all of his heroes did this crap.
This is all under one banner, by the way. We're not talking multiple brands, which makes sense. He conveniently leaves that part out every time.
And he's like, well, the U.S. champs always set up for the world champs, and it's like, yeah, but it didn't. The Midnights only ever held the world titles one time, but they were always U.S. champs. I don't know. But we're closing out the month of March next Wednesday, everybody, with WWE WrestleMania 24. And it is our final show before WrestleMania 38, which Greg will be at in Dallas.
I'm stoked.
Anyway, that does it for the rest of the month. The next time we're covering a TNA show, by the way, looking at the schedule, is going to be on April 13th. We're covering a Lockdown 2007. It's
almost time to pay your taxes, you tax cheats.
Good grief. Yeah, we're going to do IRS proud by covering Lockdown 2007. He's on the show we're covering on Friday, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so check that out. It's Bray Wyatt's dad. That's, like I said, it's double main event week. Check it out. Get an extra show on Friday, and we'll do one next Wednesday. And check our YouTube at youtube.com/C/Main Event Marks Podcast. And there you can see our watch along that we did to the Last Rites match. And who wouldn't want to see that?
I mean, my ass is already in the seat.
Damn right. Why wouldn't it be? You got to see it. You can't just hear about it, Greg. You actually got to witness this. I don't know. Maybe misery loves company. I don't know. But all right, we'll see you all on Friday with Clash of the Champions 1 and next Wednesday with WrestleMania 24.